This is eCommerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of eCommerce Uncensored. This is episode number 127. My name's Kevin Manell, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso and Paul Chu.
So if you guys have been paying attention to our last couple episodes, we've been talking a lot about content creation.
That's right.
And this flows really well in line with the process that we take our clients through when we start working with them. You know, the funnel that we create. And content, the awareness part of it is kind of what we've been talking about in the last two episodes. If you haven't listened, go back and check those out because we talked a lot about it.
Yeah, and it's really important. I think we talk about this a lot, and we talk about our experiences a lot, but I would say, you know, most of our clients have an issue with content creation. A lot of them don't, I don't want to say a lot of them, but most don't understand the importance of it, right? You know, you talk about somebody having to see your business 7 times before they buy from you. Well, this is what that means, right? They have to see you 7 different, doesn't mean they have to see an offer from you 7 times. It just means they have to be in contact with your business an average of 7 times. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we're going to talk about what's next after the content creation, after you've built some content.
Yeah, what do you do with the content?
Yes.
After you've made people aware, by using your content, you've made people aware of you. What are the next steps in that phase?
Jason seems in disagreement with what we're saying.
You threw me off there a little bit. I thought that's what we were. That's what we were saying.
Well, we said we were going to talk about the list building phase of our, process here.
Yeah, I mean, I was referring to the process and our clients' inability to, not inability. That's the wrong word, but our clients' lack of importance they put on content, or some of them do. I mean, we have some clients that really, really know the benefit, but there are some that just don't want to spend time or money on it. They just want to sell. So
true.
But before we do, we have to talk about our favorite email marketing / relationship. You know, every day we get an email. Not every day.
You cut your own self off. That's impressive.
Because Klaviyo, we just got an email from Klaviyo about a new feature, and it seems like I keep saying email marketing platform, and they've asked us to kind of talk about the relationship side of it. And it's funny because I didn't really see that. I'm like, all right, email creates a relationship. I get it. But they are really pushing hard on creating features that do allow you to predict what people want to see and how they want to see it. And this whole predictive analysis that email is sort of going toward. And it is more relationship building. So yeah. I cut myself off because, whenever I hear Klaviyo, I'm like, yeah, email marketing platform. And then I'm like, it's really turning out to be a lot more than that. And we get people every day, whether it's in our Facebook group or an email, asking us, I just started. Should I use Klaviyo? Or, I've been doing this for a while, and I just don't know if Klaviyo is going to help. And, I do want to be clear. It's not a matter of Klaviyo helping. It's a matter of the tools that they give you to be successful. Like the things that their platform does that allows you to squeeze every dollar out of, your subscribers as possible in a nice way.
Yeah, this email that we got today that I believe he's talking about, and I actually screamed over the wall. Not screamed, but I yelled to him over the wall. It's a predictive gender. Predictive gender segmentation or something. I can't remember how they worded it, but they're basically going to take the behavior of people on your list and try to predict what gender they are.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess outside of their name, we would need that. I mean, Kim seems like
but
a female's name.
What if you don't have their name? And what are you going to sort through everyone's name and say everybody who has the name Kim is a girl?
Yeah, that's true.
We
have thousands of people.
Yeah. So yes, right. Yes, I could see with bigger. Well, because I could see with bigger brands that being really important. But a lot of our customers have like product there's
gender neutral products.
No, speaking
mean
to a
specific?
specific. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like our
That's very
cosmetic
obvious,
companies are generally talking to women. Our some of our other products, I don't want to mention their names, but some of our other products are targeting women.
Yeah.
But even
most of them are targeting
even
women.
the cosmetic company that we work with, once upon a time we addressed their audience with girls. We said girls, and we broadcast that to everyone on the list, and that became a problem because there are some males on their list.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like bigger brands that have sell products, I could see how that's really a thing. But it's a cool feature. It's a cool feature. I mean, look, we can't just talk about like everything being perfect because it's not. I mean, it's a great platform. We love it. We love the features that they're building out, and just because they come out with a feature that maybe we don't need specifically, it doesn't mean it's not a great feature.
It's just cool to think that they could do that. That's all.
It is. It's really cool.
But anyway, go to ecommerceuncensored.com/email and sign up for Klaviyo now.
Yeah, you get 250 free subscribers and play around with it. I mean, that's what most of the people that are reaching out to me say. Like, hey, I brought in 200 subscribers and I'm messing around with the flows. It's pretty cool, you know?
It is very fun.
It is.
I've started messing around in flows. Yeah, in the segments, it is very fun.
And then join our Facebook group at ecommerceuncensored.com and /Facebook.
Oh, man.
ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook and join our Facebook group.
All right, so let's get into, well, first, obviously, the last two episodes have been about content creation. Mm-hmm. What we didn't mention is that we have this process that we use that brings people from being cold traffic all the way to being loyal customers, right? And for brands that are selling things, there's this disconnect between the process that you have to take people through, right? They think that you're going to stick a video in front of them. They're going to love your product so much that they're going to go from being aware, like being cold traffic to then being a loyal customer. It just doesn't happen that way, right? As I mentioned earlier, we talk about this. People have to see you 7 times, right? So we've come up with a funnel that we use. And basically what it is it's 4 stages. The first stage is awareness, which we've been talking about. That goes to cold traffic. The next stage would be like list building, getting them on your list as a subscriber. The next would be like a selling stage. So you'd be retargeting them with like offers or testimonials or things like that. And then the fourth stage would be a loyal customer who buys from you over and over. The content side is really the awareness side, like videos about your product, stuff that introduces your brand to them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these phases that you're talking about in this process that we put together, it always comes back to like patience, and we talk about patience a lot on the podcast. And I think like if you've listened to the last 2 episodes, you're like, great, I'm going to create some cool content. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to see people who click on my ad or they view my video, and then I'm just going to put my product in front of them, and then I'm good.
And everybody's going to buy.
Yeah. And that it can't. You got to be patient.
And the funny thing is, we see Facebook ads from the back end of things, right? And we see the process and how slow it sometimes feels like it is, right? But then if you think about yourself, the more I see a brand in Facebook and Instagram, the more I trust them. Mm-hmm. And when I'm ready to buy, I'll try it if they've convinced me, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is like the whole thing about the long game, right? Like, you have to get yourself in front of enough people at the right time. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it comes down to. So having this process of awareness, list building, selling, which is an offer, and then loyal customers is really important, even though you're not going to see sales at every single stage. You may see some trickle in, but for the most part, you may not see sales for a little while. And that's a difficult thing for brands that have either funding or brands that are spending lots of money, or that having that patience is a difficult thing.
Yeah, it's like levels of trust that you have to get over. Like to actually have someone take out their credit card and give you some money, you have to first, if you could first get them to give you their email address, which is this kind of phase we're going to talk about here. You've got them over at least that first hurdle of trust, because an email address nowadays is kind of like people. What is the word? They really they hold it close to themselves because they know how much they're going to get, marketing wise in their email box.
And I think it's even more than that, because there is not only do you have to convince them to give you their credit card, you have to break their buying pattern, right? Because everybody has a pattern. Like, I buy my golf clubs and my golf apparel from pretty much one place, right? If I see a deal at another place, like I'll break that pattern and buy it from them, because the golf equipment and apparel business is usually the same.
Is that Dick's? Is that Dick's?
Well, yeah,
because you've been talking about Dick's a lot.
Yeah,
always Dick's.
Golf Galaxy, which is owned by Dick's.
Oh, they
Okay,
are.
good.
Yes. So I'll, if I'm going to walk in the store, it's usually Golf Galaxy. But if I'm going to buy something online, I'll just usually get it at Dick's.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You love Dick's.
I love Dick's. So you have to break the buying pattern. You have to earn their trust. But it's true. Like, and this is, I think, the problem that I have with Facebook and the way that they sort of identify an ad that's working and that's not, right? Like, they give you like a score, like a relevant score, right? And they don't really know outside of engagement what that ad is really doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see ads come through my newsfeed that I don't interact with, but it's doing something to me psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another time that I see the company. So I think like it's hard for them. Yeah, they have predictive analysis just like Klaviyo does, but they don't really know the psychological side that ad is, the purpose of that ad is serving.
Yeah, sometimes I see weird relevancy scores, speaking of that. Like, I don't know if you see it too, but like sometimes I'll see we're capturing emails, we're capturing sales, and I'll look at the relevancy score and it's
low.
It's low.
But like, we're getting what we want to get at a good price. I don't understand.
It's still a computer. It still doesn't have that human interaction in there, in that algorithm.
Exactly. So, and that's, I think that's where, the disconnect is a little bit. Paul, you talk about this a lot. Like, you talk about how, for lack of a better word, when you're bombarded with a brand's ads, just from a content standpoint, you just gravitate to them for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with kind of what we talked about in the other two podcasts, or the first one, like with concepts. So conceptually, it's making you live in that lifestyle or see that lifestyle where, like you said, you're not changing someone's buying pattern yet, but you're changing their mentality, where once they are on someone's list, or once you capture their list and then capture their email and you're sending them things, then they're ready to buy because they've been seeing your content. They've been seeing your videos for a while, and now they're like, oh yeah, I need to get that.
And
so
email lives a little longer too, right?
Definitely.
Than social.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, let's focus now, because I know we were kind of like all over the place, but there's all these different stages. Stage 1 is awareness, as we said. Stage 2 is actually making them make a commitment, right? Which would be getting on your email list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to this day, by far, email is the single most effective marketing channel there is, period. I know people talk about, emails, dying. Look, there are two things that you can bet on when you see somebody on their phone. They're either on social media or they're checking their email, period.
That was a surprise to me. Like, when I first got more involved in the marketing side of it, I was one of those people who was like, email's dead. That's for dinosaurs, like old people. And now I'm more involved in it, and even I pay attention to emails and want to sign up for lists that I know I'm going to get valuable content for. So,
yeah, and you see the numbers too, like people actually buying, right?
Yeah, they do.
So, that second stage, that commitment stage, that's really important, because you're getting them over the hump, right? That's that first commitment, right?
Yeah, and once you have their email address, it's like
You can do whatever you want. You can market to them anytime you want.
As important as the content and awareness phase is, you really don't control it in any way. You can see people who are watching your videos. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they're going to be when. But in email in the morning, afternoon, night, when you begin to understand where they're going to be and when they're going to interact with your content.
Yeah, and it's your asset. Like, there's no one that can take that from you, right? If Facebook shuts your ad account down, you can't run Facebook ads. If Klaviyo shuts down your email list, you take it and go to another provider. I mean, right. It's an asset for the company at all times, and you can market to them when you want to, and you can make money when you want to. It's really, and this is, it's interesting because this is something that I don't understand why more clients, more companies don't see this, right? The only predictable way to make money is email. There is no other predictable way. I mean, Facebook, you're constantly testing out your ads. You're constantly trying new things. That's annoying me.
Yeah,
it's your phone, isn't it?
Yeah, it is my phone.
He's got a what is it, a Shopify app on your phone?
Yeah.
That every time an order comes in,
cash register.
I like to hear it, but
it's good to hear it, but enough's enough.
Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, you create an email, you send it out, and it makes money. It's like it's just like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure probably people are asking that's great, that's good. Email's the best. I want to get email, but how do you get email? Like, what's next? Yeah,
and that's kind of where Facebook or Instagram comes in, right? Like, you create these awareness ads, whether they're videos. Our awareness can be a little like the awareness side of things can really be anything. It could be a blog. It could be a video. It could be a case study. It could be a downloadable guide, even though a downloadable guide is also the list building side, right? Like, you can test. It isn't just black and white all the time. There is like a gray area, right? Like awareness and list building can kind of be meshed into one.
Yeah, you can definitely capture an email on the cold side of things. That does happen.
It does happen. Are they as engaged? Probably not, right? But I would encourage you to separate your list so that you know how people came in, and you can, determine who's really responding and who's not. There are a couple of really cool ways that we like to use quizzes. We like to use even like a blog. You can have what's called like a content upgrade. So in the blog, you can have like a guide that goes with the blog and collect emails that way. There's a lot of different strategies that you can use to get people on your list, but it's really important that you move people down this line. You move them from just learning about you to then getting on your email, having like a welcome series. I get emails from Dick's Sporting Goods literally 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like, they know that if they send me a 20% discount, I will buy. Period. And I'm on that list. I'm in that segment.
Yeah.
I get those all. I'll make a purchase, and then the next day I have another 20% off. Because they know, like, every time I get 20%, I'm spending.
Do you guys think it's important to differentiate between someone who comes into the email list via a content upgrade or through like a blog or a downloadable, as opposed to someone who gives their email for like 15% off?
Yeah, so obviously somebody who's given their email for a percentage off is probably more down the buying cycle, right? Because that's more of a buying activity,
mm-hmm.
right? 15% off your order. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing people like download or get on email lists for like, 20% off or $30 off, that actually use the coupon at a very, very high clip. But there needs to be follow-up and back-end stuff.
I think that the coupon part of it can happen in the awareness stage too. So if you're sending traffic to your website through content or something, they could get that pop-up, and they could be that interested in the product at that point where they could sign up for something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's rare, but it's definitely, especially, it depends on what how many times you've hit them. Like maybe if they've read 4 or 5 blogs, and in that blog you've talked about your product, then absolutely. But yeah, I mean, you can get creative, you can try different things, but think of it as just a process that you have to bring people down. And I forgot where I heard this, but somebody was like, you can't skip any step. There's no length of time that it has to be, but you can't go from step 1 to a loyal customer, like cold to hot. Right? You have to go through these stages, and it can happen really quickly. It can happen from, they see an ad to they get on your list to they buy within a couple days. There's no length of time, but you have to go through that process. It's like marrying somebody, right? Like there's no time frame. Like you can marry them today and then you can meet them today and then marry them in a week, but you can't go from meeting them today to falling in love to going to dinner for a month. Like you can't go, you can't skip, right? Like you have to go from I just met you to now I like you to now I really like you to now I love you to right. There is this process, and for some people it's years. For other people it's months. But there is a process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're doing this retargeting, the first level of retargeting isn't necessarily going to be that people are going to gravitate to your list at that point. You may have to hit them over and over and over again.
Yeah. Now let me just be clear. You can go from just meeting them to having sex with them. I mean, there's that's not part of the process though.
Well, that's
so. What would the having sex? The having sex would be like giving your email address. Would that be? Go from awareness.
Well, I was gonna, and where my question was kind of coming from that area, not sex and whatever, but that if someone gives their email for like a deep discount, that's the immediate one night stand. Like they're not a loyal customer or reliable. They're just making a quick purchase. They're like a deal shopper, as opposed to someone who really is interested in the content or your brand will give you their email address for just that content, and they're more valuable in terms of a long process.
Right.
Like it's a nice relationship turns to marriage.
Exactly. So a marriage, I don't want to say, never comes from a one night stand, because somebody I know, Cruz,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, for the most part, you have to, the marriage is a big thing. That is the prize. That is a loyal customer, right? Somebody who loves you and will buy from you and will, engage with you all the time, right? A one-night stand, like you said, yeah, they may give you their email for that 30% off, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to come back.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, this isn't a situation where we're looking for relationships. There are instances where you can just put a product out there and you'll sell a cheap product and you'll get a bunch of customers. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a relationship. We're not looking for a one-night stand.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because there are a lot of different scenarios. Like we have a client right now that has one product, so it's hard to be a loyal customer in there right now. I mean, they're launching other ones, but at this stage, there's only one product to buy, really, right? But yeah, I mean, there is a process. Think of it like, your husband or your wife. You didn't go from meeting them to marrying them, right? That didn't happen the first day or the same day. You met them. You kind of hung out with them a little bit. You got to know them. They got to know you. You kind of liked each other.
You move in together. You get a dog.
Right. Then you have a 2-night stand, and then it goes to a 3-night stand, and then you can't get rid of them.
I think it works with any kind of relationship. I think I mentioned it once before on an old podcast. Like if you're at a party and you meet somebody that could potentially be interested in a service or a product.
What if you're on a cruise, though?
Oh, my God.
That's a separate story.
Okay.
If you just go up to them and just say, hey, I have this really great product, they're going to be like, what are you, nuts?
Right.
You have to have a conversation with them to make them feel comfortable, and you lead up to that. And that selling part of it may not even happen in that conversation.
No, but they get to know you. They get to know who you are. They get to know what you're about. And again, going back to email, there is no better way to do that than through email, right? Like you can do it as often as you want. Maybe you annoy the person and they break up with you.
Our minds are in the gutter.
You can do it whenever you want.
No, I was not talking about that. But you can send email as often as you like, and you're in control of it. or you can do it as little as you like. And every customer has a different personality, just like every husband or every wife has a different personality. Some people need years. Some people need more nurturing. Some people need more convincing. Some people need little convincing. Some people are like me, they're just looking to buy shit, so if I see a good deal, I'm going to buy it. Right. Like, so it's just, everybody has a different pattern, and, it's so important to, think of this as a process.
Yeah. So make them aware, create a piece of content like we spoke about in the last 2 episodes, and then completely focus on retargeting those people who have shown some interest or some engagement in your content, and do whatever you can to get their email address.
Right. I would say that is like probably the, and I said this before, but like one of our clients just told us, like, you guys are teaching me how important email is. And it's true. Email is, we can sign up a new client, and if they're not doing email, we know we can literally bump their sales like instantly, just with email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And email ties us right into our favorite email marketing platform, which is
Klaviyo. Go to eCommerceUncensored.com/email.
Yeah, and their conference is coming up again. I keep mentioning that, in Boston, September 25th, I think, or something like that. I watched their promo video for the new. I wanted to see if we were in it from last year.
Ooh.
We weren't.
No, that would just deter people.
Yeah.
No.
And sign up for our Facebook group at ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook. This has been episode 127. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
You're wearing Klaviyo socks again, Kevin. That's great. See ya.